All right, hey people, today is September 11th, 2025. My name is Chris Lucas. This is my show, The Protestant View. Like I said, I will be changing the name. Also, I this show might get banned, even though I don't plan to be that elaborate, just because I'm already seeing issues with the censorship and even trying to do the little things I'm trying to do. Please subscribe to my Rumble. I put it in the YouTube community post. If you want, I I don't think I'm going to be able to do this show is going to stay up on YouTube basically. But what I'm trying to point out before my show gets erased off the internet is something that happened back in 2012 after Obama gets elected. And remember that Commonwealth is America's oldest Catholic journal. And what did they say? Right? The Catholic takeover of America is almost complete. Obama gets elected and the Catholic takeover is almost complete. Wow. So does that mean they're backing Obama? Yes. When you go look at all their websites, the priest and everyone is encouraging people to vote Democrat, even though they're like, but they support abortion and stuff. No, go vote for them anyway because they best support Catholic social teaching. Why do you think you see socialism? It's an offspring of it. But people, hold on before you click away because there's so much that I'm going to try to slam down as fast as I can. I got to go to work today, so this isn't going to be good. And also, I have all these issues with my computer at the wrong time. Plus, I'm pressed to go to work. So I plan to do a show Friday when hopefully I can straighten out my computer and get deeper on all this. But remember all this stuff.
You tell parents about getting their kids vaccinated. Measles, on the measles. Tell parents about vaccinations. They have to get the shot. The vaccinations are so important. This is really going around now. They have to get their shots.
See, the whole thing is people keep thinking he fought all of this stuff, and he did not fight anything. You see, right here, I had friends. Okay, keep in mind, people, I'm not someone who's a Johnny come lately. I've been trying to expose this stuff since 2004. I've been I've been against open borders, all this stuff. I've been trying to run for office, and people will take and hammer me down because they're like, because I'll speak against Bush. I'll be like, hey, Bush appointed Judge Roberts, who had and I want to show you something about Judge Roberts real quick. Judge Roberts, when Bush appointed him, I spoke out against Judge Roberts because I said, no, he's a Roman Catholic who will just go along with everything the Democrats want. And people hammered me at that point, right? People said, Chris, I'm going to make sure that we rip you apart and that you never get to run for office and that you're totally unsuccessful. And this is back in around 2001, when I'm 2004 when I'm exposing all this, right? and we can see these articles. Was I wrong? Because I'm trying to bring this to people's attention because all they can see in their mind is George Bush fighting the Arabs, those mean old Arabs that took down the Twin Towers. He's fighting those. Chris, you're so unpatriotic. Just and they were just like totally vicious to me, even so-called Christians, right? But what am I trying to do? I'm trying to expose how both sides are working together, how this Vatican has taken over a lot of our government. And you can read books like Rome's Responsibility for the Assassination of Abraham Lincoln by Brigadier General Thomas Harris. All right, so this is a brigadier general in 1890 who oversaw the trial of all the co-conspirators behind the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. And he said all 10 co-conspirators were Roman Catholics, right? And had their hand tied in this. John Surratt, when they went and found him, he was hiding out as the Pope's bodyguard. Go look this up. Don't just be like, oh, Chris, I hate you, your conspiracy theory. Before you even start swinging those slurs at me and all this other stuff and hating on me and calling me a propagandist, go look this up. Don't just like hate on me for without looking this stuff up. Go look it up. I am pulling up things. I don't have time to pull up every single source right before I go to work. Right? I got to get to work in about a half hour. But go look this up. look, Judge Roberts donated to help the gay rights case, right? So why am I going to think that he's going to be some great judge when he gets on the Supreme Court? I'm trying to tell people. And then what do we see years later? Every Republican that was bashing me when I was trying to say, hey, we shouldn't support his nomination. Every single Republican now is like, oh, hey, look at this. He's siding with the Democrats. No duh. No duh. I was trying to tell you this. But these same people that were bashing me then, they won't apologize, right? Because it's like, no, they'll find some other reason to hate me because they don't want to admit that they were wrong hating me. They don't want to apologize. They got a lot of pride and they don't want to admit this, right? And the same thing keeps happening, right? And I'm going to get to Charlie Kirk also. But anyway, let's just kind of, I want to listen to this guy real quick because I bet this video might not stay up too long.
Assassination, a false flag operation designed to create a right-wing martyr.
Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before.
Did Trump or his allies find a shooter to kill Kirk in order to distract from the Epstein files or Palestine, or maybe simply as the justification for an authoritarian crackdown against the left?
It's dangerous. This is a war. This is a war. This is a war. This is the war.
I'm recording this just
now. That's the part I really wanted to get right here. This guy, I don't really agree with everything he's saying, but this right here, this is why I played this clip of Alex Jones.
It's dangerous. This is a war. This is a war. This is a war.
Why is this a war? Why are you jumping to Charlie Kirk's side, Alex Jones? Because let me tell you about a little bit about Charlie Kirk. And I know this is going to make everyone mad at me because I see all these YouTubers and we're all in the same circle. And all these so-called Christian YouTubers are like, oh, yeah, Charlie Kirk's dead. And I'm making this video and wham, wham, wham. And they're crying over him. And then some of these people, I don't even think they're sincere. But second of all, let me tell you about Charlie Kirk. Why are you promoting the lockdowns and the COVID vaccine is good? And people will be like, no. Charlie Kirk didn't do that, Chris. I can show you right now. We're on YouTube and Twitter and all these other things where Charlie Kirk was against where he was against the COVID vaccine and against everything, right? And they're gonna say, oh, he was against all of this stuff. Was he really against it? Because guess what? He was supporting Trump. Did he ever say one bad word against Trump? I looked it up. I even used ChatGPT. Now, one of you pulled ChatGPT up to confirm everything I'm saying, because ChatGPT, right now, for some reason, my computer's running slow. It's lagging, so I can't pull it up. But it said Charlie Kirk never spoke out against Trump. Wait a minute. I thought you were against the lockdowns and the vaccine. Didn't Trump sign Warp Speed? See, a lot of people kind of miss all this psychological manipulation and control that all these little influencers are doing, like Candace Owens, Alex Jones. Alex Jones, I played this clip, and like I said, I can't pull up all these clips before I go to work, but there's this clip I have played on past shows where Alex Jones is promoting the COVID vaccine as safe and effective. People are like, oh, no, he didn't. Yes, he did. I showed the clip. He's on there going, he said, Donald Trump is working on a really safe vaccine. Okay, so who was the first people Donald Trump worked with? It was Moderna, right? So that must be the really safe vaccine that Alex Jones is saying that Donald Trump's working on. And I showed you it the whole time. I showed you everything to point to that. Now, because we know that well, I don't think you can get into all that. But see, I wanted you to see something. See, when I said that back in 2001, I said, guys, they're putting on a show. Obama and George Bush don't like each other. I mean, Obama and Bush actually do like each other, right? I said the Democrats and George Bush are both working together. But see, a lot of people, once they hear, oh, Chris doesn't like George Bush, oh, he's a Democrat. Chris is evil. Let's slam. And it's like, no, please listen to me. I said the Democrats are controlling a lot of things. The Vatican has controlled the Democrat Party. I have pulled up multiple things to show this, right? Because it's always the Democrat Party is always promoting the Vatican agenda. What does the Vatican support global warming? Yes. Does the Democrat Party support global warming? Yes. Does the Vatican want open borders? Yes. Does the Pope even goes right to our southern border and praises them for coming over and risking their lives to illegally come in our country? The Pope has had what do you call it, rallies around our border praising these people. Now think about this. Now you get these elected officials that call the same foreign leader of another country Holy Father. So imagine Putin, right, becomes the bishop of the Orthodox Church, right? And now imagine we start having Orthodox people get in office and they go, oh, Father Putin, Holy Father Putin. Would you feel very safe? Like they're like, oh, Holy Father, and they're bowing to him. And it's like, yeah, and you're leading our country. Okay, why is it all of a sudden, it's totally fine when Roman Catholics are bowing and calling this guy who's a foreign leader of another country Holy Father? Because go look it up. The Vatican is a city state, right? Am I dumb? Go look this up. So now when you're saying a Holy Father to someone who's the leader of a city state, shouldn't you be concerned? And now now do you want these policies that this leader of this city state wants, like global warming, gun control, and everything? And then when you get Republicans that are Roman Catholic and they get in office, like Judge Roberts, why is Judge Roberts favoring the legal immigrants and things like? Why is Judge Roberts favoring open borders? Why is Judge Roberts favoring gun control? Do you kind of see how this kind of works? Like this, and Charlie Kirk does the same things, and this is why I'm not going to sit here and cry about him and be like, oh man, let's be like Alex Jones, where we got to get all worked up, right? I want to play that one more time.
For an authoritarian crackdown against the left.
It's dangerous. This is a war. This is a war. This is a war.
See, that's how they use these people. These influencers like Alex Jones, they build them up over time. Oh, look at this great patriot. Now he's like, this is a war. This is a war. We gotta go get this person for shooting Charlie Kirk. And they're gonna use this, right? Just like I want you guys to think back to 9/11. What happened? Patriot Act, right? They call it Patriot Act, right? Oh, it's for the patriots. It's for our freedom. Really? Did you get more freedom after the Patriot Act? But now let's go look at who did the Patriot Act. We're gonna look at a name no one ever hears. Viet Dinh Patriot Act. So says Viet Dinh, a key figure in the development of the USA Patriot Act, having served as a primary author while he was Assistant Attorney General back in the 2000s, right? This guy, Roman Catholic, no surprise, right? Guess what? He is the godfather of one of Rupert Murdoch's children. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I can't pull up the source right now because, like I said, my computer's lagging. I'll try to do all this on Friday or Saturday, one of those 2 days. I'll make a longer video where I pull up all these sources. So before you say, "Oh, you're not sourcing things," I gotta get to work. Stop attacking me, okay? I'm one man who doesn't get support, who gets attacked by everyone, because basically, if you ever watch that movie Idiocracy, that's kind of how I feel. I feel like I'm stating the obvious. Trump signs warp speed. Let's get mad at Trump for signing warp speed. But then somehow, no, everyone wants to ignore that he's the one who signed warp speed. He's the one who kept renewing the lockdown order every 30 days. And everyone wants to give excuses for him, like Candace Owens, like Alex Jones, like Charlie Kirk, and all these people. And it's like, what they want to do is they want to kind of control your minds. Like, yeah, I know Trump did it, but we're not going to blame him. We're not even going to bring his name up into it. We're not even going to ask Trump questions of why he's going along. We're not going to demand that Trump speaks to us, because these voices are big voices. Like Charlie Kirk, he supposedly he helped get Vance to be Donald Trump's vice president when I'm looking up everything. So if you're that influential, Charlie Kirk, why didn't you tell Donald Trump to go look at the Santa Clara antibody test, right? Which showed that the virus wasn't that bad, right? Remember the Santa Clara antibody test? Why isn't anyone bringing that up? Oh, because it would make Trump look bad, right? Because Donald Trump should have known about this. Hold on, antibody test COVID. No, I don't even know if it'll still be up here. Like I said, I got all this written down. I couldn't pull it up because my computer started having issues right before the show, and I didn't want to delay it, and I have to go to work. But basically, what they did was Santa Clara. There's like they did these antibody tests around April 17th, and it came back showing that there's actually 80 times more people have the virus, and they're not all dead either, right? And so when it shows that 80 times more people have the virus, guess what that means? That means it's less deadly because they thought 80 times less people had the virus. You know why? Because they were only testing the very sick people who went to the hospital. Because remember, people keep forgetting all these little details. Why did they think that COVID was so bad? Because they were only testing the people who came to the hospital. And please use your brain. Don't turn into Idiocracy on me. Think, and don't get angry at me just because I'm speaking against Trump. I want you to think when only the very sick people, the sickest of the sick, come to the hospital, they're probably the most likely to die or have some serious effects, right? Okay, now if you're only testing the sickest of the sickest, guess what? Guess what? Come on. Yes, that's right. That makes it look like the virus is deadly. But now when you test everybody, even all the people who got the virus and don't even know they had it. I tested for antibodies. Funny, I didn't even know I had the virus. See, that shows you it's not that deadly because some people didn't even know they had the virus, right? And they go take this antibody test, and it also goes to show you that no, it was around in the entire public. It's 80 times more. There's no need to lock down. We're starting to see that it's not much worse than the cold, if it is worse at all. Right? So there's no need to lock down. But why did they keep doing it? These were the things I was trying to bring up to Trump. But then I would have people like in Charlie Kirk's circle and other circles, Candace Owens' circle, and these people, instead of like letting me bring it to their attention and be like, hey, Charlie, why don't we bring this up to Trump? I would get automatically blocked in their groups. Right? See, that's how it works. See, they're the big voices, and then they go, okay, just say some things about Jesus, and then we'll get everyone to like you, right? And that's what they do. I'll look like this great Christian, and I'll say some stuff about Jesus, right? And people are so hungry for wanting to see someone like that, they'll buy into it, but they don't think. That's the problem. It's like, see, because me, dude, I don't care if I get shot. I'll go preach about Jesus. You guys want to support me? Please support me so I don't have to work my job 70 hours a week. And then I can go out and do the same thing, but do it better, right? Because then if I have 1 million people listening to me, then Trump's got pressure, right? Because when he tries to do things like lockdowns, I'd be like, Donald Trump, hey, I want to have a word with you. I have, a couple of million people that listen to me. Instead of hating me, if you guys would have just supported me and subscribed, right? And then now all of a sudden it's like, well, hey, Chris has got some good questions. Now maybe you're like, no, Chris, I still think you're wrong. Why don't you just give me the chance to ask him the questions then? Let me ask him the tough questions just so we're all on the same page. And then you can hear him answer these tough questions, right? That's all I wanted to do. You don't have to believe me. Let me just ask the tough questions. Stop silencing me before I can ask the questions. And stop going, oh, no, Chris, it just has to be the way we think it is. It just has to be. Like, Chris, you're crazy for thinking George Bush and Obama and the Democrats are working together. You're crazy. Really? Really? Oh, I mean, remember that Donald Trump, when he's appointing these people, how many people would you say, oh man, that guy's such a hardcore, patriotic Protestant who listens to the founding fathers? How many people like that did Trump appoint? Zero, right? Oh, absolutely. Huh, that's really weird. But it's okay that he appoints these Roman Catholics like Brett Kavanaugh, who's for global warming and gun control and things like that, right? Because he's a Roman Catholic. Why would he be against his Pope, right? And he's calling this guy who does want open borders and gun control and forced vaccination. He's calling that guy Holy Father. Hold on, while I'm remembering all this, 200. Yeah, let me show you guys what the Vatican and all the Catholic publications were bragging about. They weren't just like, oh, this is just a side issue. No, 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 no. They were like, papal vaccine campaigns offered punishments and rewards 200 years ago. They were bragging about being the first to mandate vaccines, right? They were bragging about this. You read any Catholic publication, it's not just the crux. Go look it up yourself. Just type in papal vaccine campaigns offered punishments, rewards 200 years ago. You'll find several major Catholic publications all supporting it, right? And they're bragging about this. And so now, if Trump has nothing but people like Fauci, who is from a Jesuit school, Regis Jesuit High School, right? Roman Catholic. When you have all these people surrounding Trump, I mean, even the CEO of one of the companies, I think it's Pfizer, the CEO of Pfizer, he's the one who secures all the fundings and stuff for Pfizer from the governments and things like that. Roman Catholic, right? Like there's all these like hands in it, right? And it's like if they were against it, um, they definitely had the power to stop it, right? But instead they keep forcing it and forcing it and forcing it. I do want to play like things like this weekend. I'll play the clips of like Chelsea Clinton. What did she say? She was at the Vatican Council of Culture and she was pushing that they need more censorship. And then you start seeing even more censorship start being rolled out, right? Did Donald now remember Ivanka Trump is friends with Chelsea Clinton? Why do you ever see them ever talking bad about each other? Oh, no, no. In fact, guess what Ivanka Trump did? Ivanka Trump, Twitter, Moderna vaccine one. See, I'm gonna show you this. Ivanka Trump praises her dad for vaccine research. But look at this. What I want to show you this right here. Because this goes into what I was saying about Alex Jones earlier, right? Fact check. This Moderna NIH vaccine is literally the one that President real Donald Trump partnered with Moderna to create on January 13th, 2020. I repeat, January 13th, 2020. Guess what? The WHO didn't even say it was transmissible person to person until a few days later after that. So just be happy. This is great news for America, right? Oops. Accidentally. Well, I guess we can still see that this is on. Oh, good thing I did accidentally hit it, because you can see that this is actually a real post on X, right? But it was on Twitter, but when they did their change over to X, they still kept everything, right? But look. So here's the thing. Remember when I said Alex Jones, and I do got that clip. Like I said, I can't find everything before I go to work. I'm just too pressed for time because my computer had issues. But Alex Jones said Donald Trump is working on a really safe vaccine and he's trying to beat Bill Gates. Now we can see what that really safe vaccine is, can't we, Alex Jones? Is this the really safe vaccine, Alex Jones? You're the one who said it, Alex. You're the one who said it. I got the receipts. I got the video proof. You're the one who said Donald Trump's working on a really safe vaccine to beat Bill Gates. And right here is his own daughter, who no one has corrected. So probably this is it, right? And I even pulled up the Moderna website, which shows the vaccine timeline, which they have erased, but I still have the screenshot of it, right? And that even confirms that China sent them the genetic code on January 11th, and then 2 days later they started developing the vaccine right on January 13th. So it confirms exactly what Ivanka Trump is saying, right? And just remember that it was 45 days later that they shot it into the first human being. Wow, that's a lot of testing, isn't it? How much testing do you think they did? Basically, that sounds like human beings were guinea pigs, because when you read up on it, they were doing human testing and animal trials parallel to each other. What does that mean? What does that mean? I know we're living in the movie Idiocracy, so I have to spell it out for people. What that means is that that the humans are basically being the guinea pigs. Okay, that's what parallel trials means. They're happening at the same time because they didn't have time to do the animal trials prior to shooting them in the humans, right? And you got to remember, all this technology was. When did they ever bring a product to market that was an mRNA? And some people don't even know that COVID so-called cure that they invented, they don't even know it's an mRNA and not actually a vaccine. And so, and yes, I know the government tried to change the definition that way you had to say it's a vaccine, but I would say that definition, it still doesn't fall up under it. All right. But they try to make it so vague that it could fall up under it. So, but and that's why I was trying to get them for interstate commerce and violating it, right? But I got attacked for it because all these Republicans were like, shut up, no one wants to hear about driver's licenses. It's like, dummies. Interstate commerce laws has nothing to do with a driver's license, you idiot. It has to do with transferring mislabeled medical products across state lines. And I actually had so-called Christian YouTubers that said, "Oh, I'm so concerned about the New World Order. I'm so concerned about the vaccine." So I get on their show, right? And I go, "Well, this was a violation of interstate commerce law. Get out of here. We brought you on this show to talk about New World Order, and you're sitting here talking about driver's license. No one wants to hear it. Get out of here now." And I'm like, dude, you morons. Let me get a word out. But they didn't want to because they wanted to promote Trump, and it's like, and as soon as they hear it, they don't want to let someone speak. I got to say 2 sentences and thrown off a show, and this happens to me several times. A lot of these people who call themselves Christian YouTubers and truthers, dude, they are so fake in there, and all they care about is grifting, right? Because they know as long as they promote Donald Trump and say the total opposite, that I'm against the vaccine and the lockdown, but I promote Donald Trump. It's like people don't want to hear what's actually going on. They just want to feel safe and secure and like, yep, I just want to believe Donald Trump is doing the right thing. And plus, they go and bash people who don't support Donald Trump. So now that would make them feel bad to suddenly admit, oh, I've been bashing people while supporting someone that's doing the exact same thing I'm bashing other people for, right? So they don't want to admit that. So what they do is they start looking for other reasons to hate you. Even if they start finding out it's true, they'll look for other reasons to hate you. Just like when I exposed this kind of stuff, right? I said no. Because here's the thing. Back when Bush was appointing all these scumbags like Judge Roberts to the Supreme Court, what people would do is go, Chris, you're dumb. Democrats are crying right now because he appointed Judge Roberts, don't you? And they would show me these articles. See, they're hating him. They're freaking out. Chris, that doesn't make any sense. If they were working together, why would they be crying? Why would they be doing that? You're a shill, man. We're going to make sure you don't have any kind of political career. We're going to make sure every sponsor doesn't support you, and we're going to go after you hard, right? So this is what I've been fighting. People like WorldNet Daily and all these other shills, right, that want to come after me for exposing this crap, and then all their stupid, dumb, blind followers, right? And it's like, okay, think about this. What if they were putting on an act? So they're crying, but it's all a show. Did you guys ever think about that? That's what I was trying to say the whole time. Oh, the Democrats are crying, but behind the scenes they're high-fiving each other. They're high-fiving George Bush and patting him on the back and hugging him. And people are like, "No, Chris, that's crazy. George Bush is so for for being a patriot and loving everybody, and he would never join the Democrats. Never ever, Chris. You're such a shill. You're such a liar." Look now. Look, years later. And all you had to do, though, was actually read the articles I'm pulling up, right? Look, just read that. And think, I do want to pull up something else too. Um, General Holdridge, Pope's Commandos. See, there's this old 2-page letter that this guy, this brigadier general, oops, I don't know if I'll be able to, can't enlarge it too much or I'll start cutting everything out. But look at this. General Holdridge of the Minuteman. So this is a guy who was actually a brigadier general of the United States. He writes a 2-page letter to Dwight Eisenhower, president of the United States, on January 18th, 1959. So what's he writing about? Under the above title, the Saturday Evening Post of January 17th, 1959 presents such a shocking exposure of the dangers we face from the Jesuits, Society of Jesus, as to fill the heart of every loyal citizen with dread. This article provides conclusive documentation of the dire threat of this Roman Catholic order and of the forces of the Vatican affiliated with this order, which I have attempted to drive into the consciousness of yourself, officials of the government, and the sleepwalking people of the United States for the past 5 years. So he has been trying to do this ever since 1954. Risking my very life from day to day to do so. At last, you must listen, for the truth is now spread before you from impartial sources. Permit me to reanalyze for your comprehension the salient facts presented in this article. All right. So, oops. Let me kind of scroll on down. So the fundamental purposes of the people of the United States are to promote the principles of liberty stated in the Declaration of Independence and in the preamble of the Bill of Rights of our Constitution. The fundamental purposes of the Jesuits and international dictatorship are diametrically opposed to our charters of liberty and are publicly and arrogantly promoted on our own soil by this anti-American organization. I refer to you the syllabus of errors of Pope Pius IX, in which our freedoms are categorically condemned point by point, thus establishing the forces of Jesuitism, Vaticanism as enemies of our state. The Constitution of the United States provides for a democratic government. Actually, it's a republic government by and for the people. The Constitution of the Jesuits, and imposed upon all Roman Catholics by command of the Pope, provides for a military dictatorship under the command of a commanding general, the Black Pope of the Roman Catholicism, who even the White Pope must yield authority, and backed by the claims of 30 million Catholics in the United States, which is much more now. Further, the purpose of the free citizens of the United States is to promote the general welfare without regard to race, religion, or color. The purpose of the Pope's commandos is to promote the secular and religious philosophies of the Vatican, which are hostile to the peoples of the world as an international political state. This is clearly and publicly stated in the battle cry of the Jesuits' Vatican forces. Make America Catholic. So you hear this term MAC, like, hey, Mac. Like, in that Commonwealth article that I showed you earlier, this one. Now on this different website, I can't figure out what other website. They got like 2 website versions of this, but on this other one, you can read the comments. And this one Roman Catholic is talking about how when he was younger, like he was like he needed to get out of something with a cop, and he goes, "Hey Mac," all right. And and he said, you know, and he remembers using that to get out of this situation he was in, right? So, and this is in New York, you know, he's like talking about something that happened to him in New York, which is, you know, really interesting because New York is also where they first removed the Bibles from public schools around the year 1854, because the Roman Church supported a Democrat ticket, which had which was to be part of the deal was if they support certain politicians and they get on the and they win the Democrat primary and they get elected into office, that they were going to remove the Bible from public schools as well as alter history books, right? And this is recorded in this a book written in 1859 called Pope or President by R.L. DeLisser. And you can find this before you judge me and hate on me. Go look this up before you just want to be like, oh gosh, just this guy Chris, he needs to shut up. No, go look this up, then hate me. Go look this up, and if you can't find it, then go hate me. But you actually is on the net. I just don't have time to pull it all up. But anyway, in that book on page 244 to 248, it talks about how they did exactly just that. And just go find pages 244 to 248, Pope or President by R.L. DeLisser, written in 1859. And you'll find out who took the Bible out of public schools. But see, everyone wants to think that it's like, oh no, Chris, it wasn't I thought it was the ADL. I thought it was the Jews. No, it's not the Jews. It's not some atheistic Jewish people that took the Bible out of school. No. It was the Vatican that took them out when they supported certain Democrat politicians, right? And that was their whole deal. Anyway, so I'm going to go down to line 3. It says Jesuit military organization. So this is that same letter that General Holdridge wrote to Dwight Eisenhower. So Jesuit military organization, a commanding general, a general staff which includes U.S. citizens, 10 Jesuitical geographical provinces, territorial commands similar to our army areas, each with its own commander. And remember, this is back in 1959, so it's only gotten worse and only grown since then. 350 recruits per year from the U.S. citizens for the commandos. One of these recent ones being the son of John Foster Dulles, Secretary of the United States, who promotes the foreign policy of the Jesuits as the foreign policy of the United States. So think about this. When we're getting into all these wars and you're questioning our involvement, look who is the foreign policy makers. You know, people didn't like that Vietnam War. Why are we doing this? Well, go look into all this stuff. 6,000 commandos operating throughout the world with the concentration on U.S. as the major prize of war. Unnumbered thousands of shock troops, not part of the Jesuits, but allied with them, composed of the Knights of Columbus, the Paulist Fathers, etc., already possessing arms to be used against our citizens. 40 million male troops of the line operating internationally, comprising of the League of the Sacred Heart, 6 million within the United States, larger than the total armed strength in the United States. So at that time, it was even larger than our own armed strength at that time. 1 million members of the Women's Auxiliary Corps, Solidarities of Our Lady, operating within the United States alone. Thousands of priests, nuns, lay priests, laymen permeating our society to promote philosophies hostile to our state. 120,000 citizens, students in the Roman Catholic colleges under the influence of the Jesuits, with other thousands not directly under the Jesuits being impregnated with such hostile philosophies. Unnumbered millions of Roman Catholic children of the Roman Catholic citizens subjected to the same hostile philosophies in the Roman parochial schools to subvert our institutions, by the way, which we pay for. And you can see down here, it's Herbert C. Holdridge. He signs it, right? Brigadier General, U.S. Army. I'm just going to go right down here, and then I'm going to have to start wrapping this up. Operation Subversion of our free institutions through schools, press, radio, TV, infiltration into public office, and particularly into the armed forces, where they constitute an armed, tightly organized task force for violence against our people and our government, and where they have organized a spy ring to betray top secret documents to the Pope and the commanding general of the Jesuits. Now, I'm just going to kind of leave it there. I don't have time. But one thing about Dwight Eisenhower is he was the first to start meeting with the Pope. So he just ignored this. It was like, oh, I'm just going to go meet with the Pope anyway and go bow to him. So he kind of ignored all this. Oh, boy. I'm trying to think of what else I can hurry up and mention. Trying to go through all this. You know what? I think I'm just going to leave it at that. I really gotta start running to work, but I'm planning on covering more of this over the weekend. If this video gets taken down, remember, if you're on YouTube, because I imagine it might get taken down on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, I will be on Rumble this week, regardless, in this weekend. So, and someone has to, call this out, because it's like I'm tired of people like Charlie Kirk getting all like people crying over him when he's a grifter. He's not there to expose things. He had the power. He had the political clout and the media clout in order to demand that. If he would have said something publicly against Trump, hey, Trump, why are you still locking down after the Santa Clara antibody test came out? Why are you still locking down? Because Donald Trump has decided this emergency renewal every 90 days. So Donald Trump shouldn't have did this. In fact, even after it came out, even after those tests came out, and Donald Trump did know about those antibody tests. It's not like, oh, well, he just didn't know. No, he knew, he just didn't. He just kept going along with everything. But Sweden will pay heavily. I'd like to go into depth about this, Trump for not locking down. See, people keep thinking, oh, no, he wasn't for the lockdowns. Well, if he's not for the lockdowns, why does he keep saying this stuff? And this is on, oh my gosh, this is on April 30th. So that's 2 weeks after the antibody tests come out. And he's saying Sweden will pay heavily. Did Sweden pay heavily? Man, I look at them, they look like they're great. And a lot of people I know who were against the vaccines and against the lockdowns, they were like, we want to be like Sweden. But Donald Trump's like, no. You're going to pay heavily if you don't do my lockdown. He's the one doing it. And Charlie Kirk is saying that he's against the lockdown. But where is one single word against Trump for doing it? Where is one single word raising your concerns about the mRNA vaccine being rushed out? Where is this, Charlie Kirk? Where are you not? Why are you not bringing this up? You got a big voice. You're supposed to be this great Christian. Take a hit like me. Look, like me, where I had to go work a regular job, work 90 hours a week to support my family because I had to work sometimes, extra hours because my job didn't pay worth anything. And everyone was too busy wanting to bash me, right? So I did it and I spoke the truth. Why don't you do it? I thought you're some great Christian. But see, you know what? See, we live in a world that's so messed up where it's like, and I'm not like the only one. There's a couple other people like me out there, but I watch them get beat down and they have to go work normal jobs and be driven out of any kind of social media, right? And no one goes and keeps supporting them. And then someone like Charlie Kirk, who doesn't do it, who just kind of, let's just keep acting like Trump's, a good guy and keep going along with it, guys. See, what he does is he says things to pacify you. Alex Jones says things to pacify you and keep you going along. Let's not shake up who's running things. Let's just let Donald Trump keep running things and keep supporting him. And that's all these people are doing. Like Alex Jones, and they're making millions of dollars off of you guys. Meanwhile, the people who are actually trying to speak truth, they get the beat down, right? You know why? Because everyone, it's almost just like this movie right here, right? There's like this movie called Idiocracy, and that's how I feel like most of the public is. You try to say something sensible to them. Like this one guy in this movie. Now, I will say the language is a little bit rough in it for anyone watching it. And not too bad compared to some movies, but you got this guy, and he basically, like, that's your president's basically like some former porn star, but he's got a high IQ because everyone else is idiots, right? But not that he's got a really high IQ. He still can't figure out that plants need water, right? So here's this guy, he gets somehow trapped in this time capsule. He's just like, and he's kind of like a below intelligent guy himself. Oh, I guess it doesn't show his face, or it's showing it on my screen, but it doesn't look like it's showing on everyone else's screen. But anyway, so this average guy, he gets put in this time capsule. They forget about him. He gets transported 500 years in the future. Well, this guy who's kind of below average intelligence is suddenly considered the smartest guy in the world because everyone else has gotten so stupid. And he's just saying some real plain things, and people are trying to gaslight him and treat him like he's crazy and stupid. Like, oh, you think plants need water? What? And it's like, to be honest, I think most of so-called Christianity and Republicans and people in America are kind of just this exact same way. You know, it's like you say something like Trump signed warp speed. That's maybe we don't like warp speed. Maybe we should say something against him. That seems real simple, real sensible. And then it's like, what? You hate America? It's like, how did you get I hate America from that? I actually, I see that spending $10 trillion on warp speed could drive up inflation because you're taking all that money and you're throwing that into the economy, right? But then it's basically going to like the people who have all the money. And so you're just making them richer, right? And they get to plan their investments because they can move all their money into stocks that they know will just go up, and that protects them from inflation, right? Because the stock, inflation goes up, so do their stocks, so do their gold. They're not hurt by this. It's your average person who's stuck making the same wage. It's not like you go to work the next day, oh, inflation went up. Oh, hey, guess what? You also got a raise too. It doesn't happen like that. The little person gets messed over. See, the rich people, all they got to do is take and put their money into gold and silver. And then when inflation goes up, well, the gold and silver went up. So they're not hurt by the inflation. They put it into stocks. Their stocks go up. They're not hurt by the inflation. It's that little person whose job doesn't instantly give them a raise, right? And the little person cannot just instantly transfer jobs. It doesn't work like that because everyone doesn't instantly start raising wages. This is a very gradual process. So it's like the little person is sitting there like, I got to wait until everyone sort of forces them to raise the minimum wage. But until then, they're stuck and they're barely making ends meet. And then they got to start eating a bunch of garbage in order to stay alive because they got to eat the cheapest food there is. And they got to live in the cheapest housing there is. And sometimes they even lose their houses. And it's like, all I did was say, hey, we cannot spend $6 trillion on this. Even if this was deadly, it's going to ruin the economy. I said, even if it was deadly, even if it was as bad as they claim, I did the calculations. I shouldn't get gaslighted when I said, I want to see your cost benefit analysis. Everyone, and people are like, cost benefit analysis? It's like, yeah, maybe we should do one. Oh, no, Donald Trump, great. It's like, no, cost benefit analysis. Let's see it. Let's see if that cost benefit analysis should have been done. Like, this is what I don't get. Why do people want, like, just keep voting for idiocy, man? Idiocracy, right? You guys kind of vote for this stuff. Sensible questions. That's why I wanted to run for office. But if I'm getting beat down by you guys, why am I going to bother? Because I'm already working 70 hours a week. I'm barely seeing my kids as it is, right? And then I'm going to go try to run for office, which means I don't see my kids at all. All for what? All for people who want to just keep bashing me? No, thank you. It's like, and all I'm saying is you don't have to support me. Find someone, okay, find someone better. Let me know about them so I can go support them. But see, a lot of people, what they do is they bash me. They bash people because they're like, well, you're not good enough or something like that. Okay, fine. I'm not, who is? Okay, why don't we support the people who might not be good enough, but they're still better than what is out there right now? And maybe that causes other people to surface up, and then we could go support them instead. The better people, the people better than me. But see, a lot of people will bash me and will bash other people who are actually trying to do something, and they won't offer an alternative. Okay, well then who's better? And then they'll go, Charlie Kirk. Yeah, Charlie Kirk, the guy who is running around promoting Donald Trump, who wound up pushing warp speed on us and causing inflation to go up. Now, that dude's not no more martyr. I'm not going to cry one single tear for him. And I think people who do are kind of pathetic, to be honest. And I got to get to work. So that's it. That's my video.